Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with TheLibertyBeacon.com, and I am your host, Joseph M. Lenard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! Heidi-ho, gang! Welcome to How Stupid Have Americans Become Part 2 on the behind-the-scenes video. You can see me holding up the TLB correlating in conjunction with this episode article printed out. And indeed, this is another one of those, you gotta go there. You gotta go over to TheLibertyBeacon.com and read this to go along with the show, and vice versa. Those reading need to come over here because I'm going to vary from the article. How Stupid Have Americans Become Part 2. Before I do anything with what's in here, I'm going to talk about what I see out on the street. Now, obviously, anecdotal to my area, my little part of the globe here in Michigan, but I hear from people in a lot of other states about similar things happening. We're coming to the end, and there's a Trump sign on the lawn, and all of a sudden, now there's an Alyssa Slotkin for U.S. Senate sign on the same lawn. Oh, for the sake of the audio and the transcript, I am hitting myself in the head like brick wall. Bam! This is exactly why we previously discussed, as George Carlin said. They want them just smart enough to run the machines, but too stupid to think for themselves. And indeed, why civics was taken out of schools long ago. If you've broken your programming enough to understand, if we are to restore our American Republic, if we are to save our ship from going down, the Biden harass, the communist Kamalamic has hit the iceberg, and we need a miracle to prevent the ship from completely going down. And yet these people think splitting their ticket makes sense. If Donald Trump is going to undo the mess we're currently in, he's going to need legislator help, meaning down ballot. Gotta vote for your Republican House rep. Gotta vote for your Republican Senate candidate if there is one on your ballot. Because, of course, Senate, 6-year term, they are broken into thirds. So 2 senators per state. So every 2 years, there'll be an election. But then that 6th year cycle, there won't be one in your state. I was speaking with about Ohio, and indeed, Sherrod Brown Moreno race is there. At first, I was thinking that was their off cycle, but no, they are running, and we need Moreno to beat Brown. We need Rogers. As much as I'm not a fan of Mike Rogers, wouldn't have voted for him, didn't vote for him in the primary, I certainly am voting for him in the general election, because in order for Trump to get anything done through the legislature, he must have control of both the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. And no matter what happens, there's no chance that the GOP will have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. So Democrats will still have opportunities to block things left and right in the Senate via filibuster. But how do you not get? I had a show, Reagan Democrats. Are we seeing the same stupidity now? But the difference then, 80, 84, Reagan ran away with it. But Reagan only had control of the Senate 2 of his 8 years because idiots voted for people who would go and work against Reagan getting anything done. But then, at least in the early 80s, there were still these rare birds called conservative Democrats. No such animal today. Any and every Democrat is going to completely oppose Trump on anything and everything. If you want Trump to fix things, you cannot vote for somebody else on that other side of the aisle. Now, if you want to vote for a libertarian for Senate or House, you're likely going to elect the commie, fasci, soci Democrat, but if you refuse to vote Republican down ballot, you can't vote Democrat down ballot. You can vote the other parties down ballot if you insist on making a statement of some sort. But civics hasn't been in our schools for how long now? People don't understand how anything works or doesn't work or cannot work if we don't have control of the whole bodies of DC to undo 50 years of commie, fasci, soci, leftist imposition of destroying our republic. It took 50 years to get here. Trump can't do it overnight, even if he has House and filibuster-proof majority in Senate, which in 2026, we then got to elect a lot more Republicans to the Senate and maybe get a filibuster-proof majority there. Still not likely even in 2026, looking at the map. And impossible if people do not get a Civics 101 for Dummies book. Same thing I see and I hear from other people. Trump sign and, in my area, my district, a Jamie Churches sign? Seriously? Riley Lenting is the one running for the Michigan House in my district, and certainly I'm supporting her. I endorsed her. And your state legislators obviously don't work with DC a lot or that often, but they do, and they matter. If we allow the Democrats to continue to have control in Lansing, nothing will happen in Michigan. Michigan will be blocked off. Democrat governor, Democrat AG, Democrat Secretary of State, Democrat House, Democrat Senate, they will reject and, in fact, engage in lawfare as they have been. More lawsuits, time after time after time. And as a side item, we've already caught them cheating here in Michigan. There are already lawsuits regarding that. Another state I just saw on the news about Democrat let the passwords to the voting machines out, known it for 5 days, did nothing about it, but an insider whistleblower leaked it to the press. Now, well, maybe we ought to change the passwords so people from China or Russia or North Korea or Iran can't not hack, but just log in. User ID, password, just log right in, manipulate results or crash machines or do whatever they want. Blue state, they didn't care. They don't want Trump votes to be able to occur there. So they want the interference. At any rate, that's my opening rant. Reagan Democrats, apparently a lot of them never learned or thought, hey, well, maybe it'll be like Reagan. Tip O'Neill did give Reagan some of what he wanted, and we had a really good economy. That's not going to happen this time. Hello, people. Have you not awakened from your woke stupor yet? There is no such thing as a conservative Democrat anymore. They will oppose Trump at every step, file lawsuits every step of the way. So now, let me indeed do at least a little out of the article for the show, How Stupid Have Americans Become, Part 2. At the top, off the bat, yes, we are all ignorant of that which we had not yet studied to learn about. We are all ignorant. We are all human. We're all frail. We all have faults. We are all imperfect. We don't know what we don't know. But as I say in my CTP2 book quotations, the left doesn't know. They don't want to know because they do know enough that if they really knew, their delusional bubble would be burst. Going on with the article. However, we're talking those who prefer delusion, self-imposed state of stupidity. How stupid have Americans become? Part 2. Seriously, I am indeed honestly begging the answer to the question, how stupid, or more so because of our education system, in large part due to the Department of Education, unconstitutional, illegal federal edicts and dictates over states' rights, over local parental rights. Indeed, how stupid or dumbed down or indoctrinated have Americans become? We will have our answer following the Tuesday, November 5th elections. I will incorporate some previous TLB pieces of mine you may have missed or forgotten as part of pointing out the media trying to shape opinion to aid abet fascocrats rather than cover news and engage in push polls, right? Polling and the nation's true beliefs. We're not going to know people lying again to the pollsters, or more so, I think, a case of they may call a Trump household and they're just hanging up. I'm not going to talk to you. Why waste my time talking to you? So hopefully there is indeed that silent majority that isn't in the polls that gives Trump a 2, 3, or 4% bump, and hopefully Trump the coattails. You've got to vote him some support in District of Columbia, in Washington. If Democrats control either body, nothing is going to be done except for what Trump can indeed legally do through the executive branch. And the executive branch, the executor, does indeed have control over the departments and agencies and does not need congressional authority to put Elon in charge to cut costs. He can shrink payroll. He can shrink. The Congress passes a budget. Well, they don't do that, really. We all know. They're passing continuing resolutions. They pass X department can spend up to Z dollars. There's the key. Up to. You're not supposed to go over, but that never seems to stop them. But you can spend less. The executor can executivize control and authority over the branch of government, the executive branch, the departments under him. He has control. So we can cut some spending and must do so if we're going to get control of this inflation in short order. Because again, Democrats will be opposing. The commie boss union leaders will be filing lawsuits to prevent firing of a bunch of people who sit around all day doing nothing but collect a paycheck. One last thing out of the article, and then I'm going to just cut this short. I know I've said in the past, oh, this will be short, and it never is. Well, I didn't say that at the top, but I'm going to cut this short. Again, go to TheLibertyBeacon.com, see the correlating piece. Never before in the course of human history, via online sources, has humanity had such easy access to facts and truth readily available at their fingertips. Sadly, too, conversely, never before prolific access to falsehoods, they can engage in confirmation bias to feed delusions and preferred narratives, many preferring lies. Yes, another quote from me, CTP2 book, quotations chapter, mostly famous people quotes there, some famous quotes you may not have known, you heard from whomever, and indeed, yes, a couple Joe original quotes, as I gave you two of there. So beyond that, jumping right into part two, I go on and behind the scenes, right? That's only part of page one. There's page two. There's page 3, if I get my fingers to work. Page 4. Page 5. Not working. Page 6. Back to the front. Approximately 1,800-ish words, 3 images, 5 videos to go in conjunction with the show. So please, 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 you gotta check out TheLibertyBeacon.com, How Stupid Have Americans Become Part 2, and go back to Part 1 if you've not seen that, read that yet there, and see that video, Part 1, here on ChristiTutionalist Politics. I apologize again. Once I hit record, the brain and the mouth do not want to cooperate. The real issue is OCD of the brain. The brain goes at 50,000 miles per hour, can break the atmosphere, but the mouth can't keep up with getting out all the points that the brain and says, hey, we got to say this. We got to say this. We got to say this. Okay. Enough of that. Indeed, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. Hey, gang, a brief interruption in the show about Christmas giving, kind of, sort of, or to ask, are you a coffee drinker? What about other coffee drinkers you know? It's indeed Christmas giving time, Hanukkah giving time. Again, I want to ask you, those coffee drinkers on your gift giving list, socks that'll get put in a drawer, they forgot you gave them, a tie or a shirt that'll end up buried in the back of the closet, they forgot you gave them. How about something useful? Like Blackout Coffee. Yes, I am partnering with Blackout Coffee. You can use promo code JOSEL20. Joseph for Joseph, L20 for 20% off. JOSEL20 promo code. Or, better yet, I've created a shortcut, tinyurl.com/blackoutcoffees. And of course, Blackout Coffees all run together as one word, not 3 separate words. So again, tinyurl.com. I love using their shortcut services, /blackoutcoffees. Should take you right in and automatically apply your 20% discount. So for yourself or for others, this Christmas, give Blackout Coffee something you know they're going to use, something they're going to enjoy, something that they then fondly remember you and your gift every time they sip from the Blackout Coffee cup of coffee. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. Merry Christmas. Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via TerrorStrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at TheLibertyBeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come, but for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast and share episodes. We need your help